Welcome back to Home Gym Hacks and Reviews. Today I'm going to take an updated and closer look at the very versatile Powertec Workbench F.I.D flat incline decline utility bench and its standalone workstation. There are a lot of features that separate this from other adjustable benches. Stay tuned. It's been nearly 3 years since my original review for this bench. Since then, the Ironmaster Super Bench Pro has come and gone, and I've turned down offers to review plenty of other benches from other companies. First, and the most honest reason, is this bench. I've had it for nearly 20 years. It is the most comfortable and enjoyable bench I've ever used, and this includes all the benches from my commercial gym training days with Cybex, Hammer Strength, and Techno Gym, just to name a few. Unfortunately, I have no idea what it is, so I could review plenty of other benches, but the fact of the matter is, this is the bench I'm going to use for dumbbell work. Then there's the Powertec Flat Incline Decline Workbench. Over the last 15 years, I've had at least 5 or 6 of these, going all the way back to the gray design that had that little plastic sleeve that covered the top of the pad. I've had the 2 that come with the Levergym. I had one that I got specifically for my first Powertec Streamline Functional Trainer, and then I got the one that I reviewed about 3 years ago. Also, the bench that is part of the multi-press is basically the same bench as the F.I.D workbench. And I've had 3 multi-presses, so I guess you could say I've had plenty of experience with this bench. Not everyone wants a power rack, including me, and that's where I feel like this bench could come in really handy. If all you have is a spare bedroom, or you only want to dedicate a small corner in your garage to working out, this bench, a set of adjustable dumbbells, and a few of these attachments are all you would need to get a very well-rounded workout. The bench arrives mostly assembled with only the feet needing to be installed and the handles if you choose to install them. Personally, if this was going to be my bench for barbell and dumbbell work, I wouldn't install these handles, but if I'm using it for the attachments, specifically the leg extension leg curl and the leg press, I highly recommend installing these handles. I really like the stamped Powertec logo, and the yellow stitching gives the bench a lot of character. The back pad selection tube offers 9 positions, including decline and flat. The earlier model's adjustment tube was not nearly as robust as this one. It was much skinnier. The bench offers 9 horizontal positions, which mainly come in handy when the bench is connected to the Levergym, Smith, or Power Rack, depending on which exercise settings you need. The older model benches only had 2 horizontal settings, and I've found this out plenty of times before. Sometimes the perfect setting is only 1 adjustment away. The seat has 4 settings, which can be extremely helpful when finding the right setting, especially for incline presses. There are wheels which make transporting this bench easier because it is a heavy bench at 91 pounds. I would like to see a dedicated handle, but I normally just grab the adjustment tube to move it. If the bench's wheels were a little bit bigger, it would slide over the Levergym plate a little more easily. I'm not sure if Powertec ever intended for this, but with the bench at a slight incline, it will stand upright. This seat is incredibly comfortable when compared to other multi-purpose adjustable benches. There is a 1 3/4 inch gap between the back pad and seat, which is noticeable when in the flat position. There is the option to add a piece of foam or a rolled towel between the 2 pads, but as the bench is inclined, that gap disappears. The height of this bench is 18.5 inches, which puts it about an inch higher than most benches. But the height of this bench is more about how it accepts 6 different plate-loaded machines that are part of the workbench system. For example, with leg extensions, the height of this bench helps to ensure the user's feet don't hit the ground when performing the exercise. If someone is super tall with long legs, another option is to elevate the front feet of the bench. Similarly, the height of this tube adds stability to whichever attachment is in the tube. So for example, when the dip attachment is in there, if this tube was lower, the dip attachment would wobble more. When dumbbell pressing, I do find the bench's feet to interfere with foot drive, but I usually place my feet on the frame or on the pads. The feet flare out to add more stability when the attachments are in use. For example, when performing leg extensions, if the feet didn't flare out, the bench would be more prone to tipping. However, when the leg extension attachment is loaded super heavy, the back feet still have a tendency to come off the ground. Luckily, Powertec's products work seamlessly together and in conjunction with one another. The F.I.D workbench connects into the Levergym, Power Rack, and Smith machine, which adds stability to the bench, and it adds stability to whatever piece of equipment it connects to. At some point, I would like to see Powertec upgrade these adjustment knobs to the same adjustment knobs that are on their new compact leg sled. I would also like the settings to be numbered. In the past, I did this with a silver Sharpie, and now with stickers from Amazon. The bench's frame is 4.5 inches long and 2.5 inches wide, so it is a pretty big bench. The back pad is 10 inches wide at its most narrow point and 13.5 inches wide in the lumbar support area, which certainly adds an element of comfort when performing leg extensions and leg presses. Even though this is my favorite bench of all time, the pads don't offer a lot of grip. That's not a feature that's very important to me, but there are some people who do want a grippy bench, and this is a fun way to figure out which bench has more grip. I'm betting on black. Looks like that was the right bet. The max weight capacity for this bench is 600 pounds, which puts it at the lower end when compared to other adjustable benches, but I've never heard of this bench failing. I would like to see the back of the back pad be a bit more robust. It sounds like it's a very thin layer of wood, but again, I've never heard of it failing on anyone. With my first Levergym, I used my old red bench. Now with this newer Levergym, I'm exclusively using the Powertec Flat Incline Decline bench. The longer I have this bench, the more it grows on me and the more I appreciate it. I do notice some wobble when I'm doing dumbbell flat press, for example, but when I'm using this bench with the Levergym or with any of the attachments, I don't notice any wobble at all. And the wobble is the result of the horizontal function of this bench. The bench comes with a Levergym, or it can be purchased separately for $449. The frame has a limited lifetime warranty and the pads have a 1-year warranty. It is 12 gauge steel, so it's not as robust as some other benches, but I have zero concerns about the integrity of the frame of this bench. Now it's time to move on to where this bench truly shines, and it's the attachment tube. This is what separates this bench from all other benches on the market. With this attachment tube, this bench can accept 6 different plate loaded machines, which offers plenty of exercises and plenty of variations for each of those exercises, and I'm going to start with the leg extension leg curl attachment. I've had 4 of these over the last 15 years. My first 2 had these metal caps which would always pop off, and I ended up just leaving them off. But now there is this new design with bolt-on end caps. There is the option to cover the end cap with the pad or leave the cap over the pad. I know there are a few other adjustable benches with a leg extension leg curl attachment and even a couple of new additions in this category, and most of them have a 200-pound weight capacity. However, this is why the Powertec is the best. First off, there's back support. Next, there are handles. Thirdly, the padding and pad covers are more robust and better fitting than others. Next, the seat is more comfortable and wide. Lastly, there is a stainless steel weight horn, not powder coat, because powder coat stinks on weight horns, and not a plastic sleeve adapter that can slide off. I will say I can go pretty heavy on this exercise, more than half of its max weight capacity, but I'll never exceed 200 pounds on leg curls, and I doubt many people can. 45-pound plates work good for leg curls and leg extensions. There is the option to add a band around the frame in this post that is there to lock the leg extension in place. There's also a couple of options to connect the Levergym's lower pulley with daisy chains. But I see this as more trouble than what it's worth, and I've always been pretty happy just simply plate loading the machine. The hook allows the attachment to be locked for ab exercises or decline work, but I think it feels more comfortable when being used similar to a GHD sit-up. The attachment has 3 settings. It took less than 5 minutes to assemble. It costs $209 with free shipping, so it's a very reasonably priced leg extension leg curl attachment that offers a lot of versatility. I do have an old review for this if you want to go back in time and check it out. Next up, the dip attachment. I've had 3 of these in the last 6 years. My first one had horizontal weight horns, and then the next 2 had angled weight horns, which is a nice upgrade. And aside from that, the design hasn't changed much, except going from a glossy black to a flat black, which I do think looks better. I have my original review and an updated review I did a few months back, so I won't spend a lot of time here. This attachment has a 200-pound weight capacity, which I think the average to above average lifter will be able to reach. I can get 200 pounds for quite a few reps, so I normally pre-exhaust the triceps with an isolation exercise before performing the dip. I've used plenty of dip machines from Life Fitness to Hammer Strength, and while this doesn't quite compete with those, I am 100% happy with it, and I do like the option to stand up when performing dips. I find it joint friendly, much more so than bodyweight dips, and I find it effective at hitting the triceps when facing away from the attachment, and I feel it more in the chest when facing towards the machine. Initially, I locked my feet under heavy dumbbells when the weight got heavier than me. Now I hold myself down with a 45 wrapped around my waist to keep my feet planted on the ground. This is one of the attachments where the clothespin trick is invaluable, and it makes connecting and disconnecting the attachment seamless. I peeled off the rubber handles for a smaller diameter grip, and I like this grip better. This attachment sells for $249, and I love having an inexpensive small footprint compound tricep exercise. I can't think of any other bench that offers this feature. The pec fly attachment is next. My last video showed the hack that I came up with that I think makes the pec fly attachment even better. I've already heard from a couple people who like this attachment better with this hack. I won't spend much time here, but I at least want to give a closer look how I connect the functional trainer handles to the pec fly arms. First, I connect the 2 rings together with a carabiner and simply loop the handles around the pec fly arms. Once the weight is engaged, the functional trainer handles stay in place. Once again, the clothespin trick is invaluable for connecting and disconnecting this attachment. It's shoulder friendly, it has a 200-pound weight capacity, which I can't imagine many people reaching. It sells for $279 with free shipping, and again, like the dip attachment, I can't think of any other bench that provides a quality pec fly attachment. The leg press attachment is next, and it's back on Powertec's website. It's not as robust as Powertec's other leg machines, and I never did a full review for it, and I never had it for any extended period of time because of all of my other leg machines. When I had it, the movement reminded me of a residential grade version of the horizontal hammer strength leg press, or even a really small version of the huge hammer strength H squat. It works for a one-leg leg press, and even a one-leg kickback. It sells for $3.99, and it has a 300-pound weight capacity. If you're super strong and have the space, I recommend getting one of Powertec's standalone leg machines over the leg press attachment. However, if you do get the leg press attachment, I highly recommend using the clothespin trick that I showed earlier because the attachment is over 50 pounds and the clothespin trick will make getting the attachment in and out of the workbench much easier. Although I've never used it, Powertec does make a lat tower attachment for the workbench. I never felt the need to get this attachment because I have the pull down on the Levergym and I had the lat pull down option on my Powertec Smith. I've had a few people who have this attachment reach out to me and say that they're happy with it and they find it smooth. It is pretty heavy at about 70 pounds, but it does have a 1-to-1 pulley ratio and a 300-pound max weight capacity. It sells for $4.89 with free shipping. I saved the preacher curl attachment for last, the most versatile of all the attachments. I've had 3 of these over the last 6 years, and in my original review for the preacher curl attachment, I showed a lot of hacks above and beyond preacher curls, but today I'm just going to stick with how I'm presently using it. I have completely removed the handlebars that come with it, and I interchange my own attachments. These attachments allow me greater freedom in movement and provide me the opportunity to use a single D handle, a tricep rope, and even my gym pin D handle. The preacher can be pulled in front of any cable system, or simply used with dumbbells or an easy curl bar. The pad can be adjusted into 3 different angles. I love the stamped Powertec logo, and the pad is comfortable and feels durable. The preacher curl attachment sells for $249 with free shipping. It weighs about 35 pounds and it is a little bit top heavy, but it has a 200-pound max weight capacity, and this is one attachment where a little bit of weight goes a long way. At the moment, I have 4 of the attachments for the workbench. In this configuration, the attachment organizer only takes up 4.5 feet by 5 feet. I think it's so cool that this bench can do so much, and I'll go on record as saying this is the most versatile bench on the planet. Is it perfect? No, but what it lacks in some areas, it more than makes up for in other areas. If you buy this bench, any of the attachments, or any Powertec product, please consider using my Powertec affiliate link. I bought all of these, many of them 3 or 4 times over the last 15 years. Powertec did not send me these for free, and I am not being paid for this video. If this bench and these attachments weren't good, I wouldn't keep buying them. And for anyone who is wondering, every time I move, I sell all of my equipment and start over, and I've moved a lot in the last 15 years. And I'll say it again, I think these attachments are better than a lot of the rack-mounted attachments that are coming to market as of late because they are easier to connect, disconnect, and adjust. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate you. Take care.